22b 1, A1, 22b1. Okay, my time. So the Gemara opens up my time. Obvious question is on the first opinion that you only give the guy 39 lashes, which is the halacha. When the pasuk itself stated about Yakena, right? The pasuk said you give him 40 lashes. How could he go ahead and say? Well, how do you go ahead and say 39? Right? That was the question. That's the Gemara's opening question. Again, you remember yesterday we spoke out that there is a opinion of the Rambam. Some understand the Rambam that really, literally, the meaning of the Torah when it says Arba'im is really actually 40. Except the rabbis wanted to make a fence. You shouldn't make a mistake and do an extra one. The Torah itself says Lo Yosef, don't add. And therefore, in order to make sure, so in case someone makes a mistake, the rabbi said to just do 39. So if you make a mistake, then you did the original 40 and you didn't go overboard. That's how some learn. But the simple, that's a good morning, Jaime. We are on 22b, Chaf Bet, Bet, 22b1. My timer. What is the reason why the Rabbanan, good morning, why the Rabbanan say 39, not 40? When the literal language of the pasuk, if you will ask somebody, they'll read the Chumash, they'll say, Arba'im Yakenu, says you hit him 40. So it sounds like you hit him 40. How could that, where did the Chachamim, what's their reasoning to say, no, it doesn't, it's not 40, it's 39? That's the Gemara's question. Now remember, there is a written Torah and there's the oral Torah, and they're all together, they're one. The oral Torah explains the Torah. The Torah itself was not given, as the Smag writes in his introduction, was not given to be understood just by taking it without explanation. It needed an explanation. It was given with an explanation. So therefore, just like if someone gives orders and rules to an employee, he has to explain what he means when he's saying what's meant by this rule, by this order. So too, there is an explanation of the Torah. But where is it? Where in the Torah is this alluded to, expounded upon? Where did they get 39? My time out. Okay, you're going to tell me they were told that's the explanation, but where in the Chumash itself is it alluded to this concept that it's 39? The Gemara says, my time. Iksiv Arba'im b'mispar. If the Torah would have written Arba'im b'mispar, 40 in number, then I would have said 40 in number, Havamina Arba'im b'minyana. I would say literally 40 in the total, a total of 40. 40 in number. That means actual 40 lashes. But here the Gemara says that the Torah did not write it in that fashion. The pasuk ends off. It could have written up. If you want to emphasize that it's 40, you're right. You hit him 40 in number. You hit him 40 in number. But the pasuk doesn't say 40 in number. There's number that goes to the number and then 40. That's how it's written in the Torah. One pasuk ends, you hit him b'mispar, the number, and then the next pasuk says 40. So the Gemara says that the language or the way it's written in the text is indicating that it's not 40 total, it's number that leads to 40. And what's the number that leads to 40? 39, as Mr. Safdie says. One before. That's what the Gemara says. But Hashtadik, now that it says the Mispar Arba'im, the number 40, it means Minyan Shehu Sochem Es Arba'im. The number what you count after this number, that's 40. But the number that you hit the guy, the Mispar, is 39. Now, so the Gemara is gonna, Rava, after hearing this amazing drasha, Rava says, look at this. Amar Rav, Kama tipsho'ei shar'inshi. How foolish are many Jewish people. Now, we're not supposed to talk bad about a Jewish person. Not supposed to say Lashon Hara. But he's making an observation that there's something. He's not naming a specific person. He's not labeling a whole community, but he's labeling many people in the community. What is their foolishness? You know, Chafetz Chaim says you got to be careful not to label a community. People a lot of times label the Syrian community, the Ashkenaz community. They do this not so beautifully, or they do this not so beautifully, or certain mannerisms. Some people might want to, chas v'shalom, say something, a negative comment. They're labeling a whole community, which is very bad. So, kamativ shoy sha'inshi. How foolish are many people? Now,
Rabbi, thank God we have you to defend the Syrians. You could answer for us all the time.
100%. First of all, I want to tell you, I never hear anything negative to begin with. First of all, that I will tell you. And you're right. I will defend. It's unbelievable the beauty of the community.
Thank you.
In many ways, it's beautiful.
It is.
And you should know that the leaders of the community, and some of you are right here. I'm talking to right now here in the class and on the screen, are beautiful role models to other people to follow. And you have to also recognize. I hope you recognize your position, who you are. That you have to use that position to make that. We have Mr. Haber here, and we have Mr. Chaim Mishera here, and we have other great Mr. Safdie and Dr. Navid. Everyone in their own place, in their own community, whether it's Deal or whether it's Englewood or whether it's Manhattan, Brooklyn, everyone needs to be those role models. You have to recognize your power, that people look up to you, and because they look up to you, and so what you do talks. You know, there used to be a commercial. You remember when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Remember that commercial? So when the people here in this room and on the screen talk, people listen. Therefore, you have to recognize that, and you have to use that to help the community. Okay, so the Gemara says, Amar Rava, Kama tifshay sha'inshi. How foolish are they? Why? They stand up in front and honor of a Sefer Torah. Now, a Sefer Torah is a mitzvah. You're supposed to stand up when the Torah is standing, when the Torah is moving. You're not supposed to be sitting down in your seat. Everyone is supposed to be standing up when the Torah is standing, when the Torah is moving. The Torah is not stationary. But they stand in front of Sefer Torah, but when there's a great rabbi and they don't stand in front of that great rabbi. And there are many people who are uneducated, not like everyone here, but other educated people that don't appreciate Torah scholars. They say, what are they, how much are they benefiting the community? So, and therefore, they honor the Torah itself, but they don't give honor to the Torah scholars. And we all know the Sfardim are very well known for the great kavod that they give for Chachamim. But the Gemara says, but look, they don't realize. Look at what the scholars do for the community. Look how the scholars, because of their explanation in the Torah, look what they accomplish. The ilu b'sefer Torah ksiv. The Sefer Torah says Arbaim. The Sefer Torah says 40. If you would read the Torah by itself, you would come to a conclusion that it's 40. It says Arbaim Yakenu. But v'atu Rabbanan, and the Rabbanan came, Batsu Chada. They took away one. They said it's 39. So one way, the more simple way to explain this Gemara is that look at the power of the Chachamim in explaining the Torah. That the Torah says 40, literally, but the Chachamim know that but the meaning of 40, just like when the Torah says eye for an eye, it doesn't mean literally an eye for an eye. It means the value of an eye for an eye. So too, when it says over here that 40 you hit, it doesn't mean 40. The Chachamim means 39, and that's only the Chachamim. That's only with the Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's only with the power of the rabbis and the way they darshin and the way they have their Mesorah from their rabbi and their rabbi that it means 39. So look at the power of the Chachamim. So therefore, if you stand up for the Torah itself, but the rabbis who look at their power, look how much they could accomplish regarding the Torah and the meaning of the Torah, how we understand the Torah is according to them, how foolish people do not go ahead and stand up for the rabbis. That is the comment that he says. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and by the way, the halacha in general is that if someone who's a Torah scholar, and that Torah scholar walks within your Dalet Amot, within your social distancing, which is, let's say, Dalet Amot is, let's say, around 6 to 8 feet, that's when you have a responsibility to stand up for a Torah scholar. So what is a Torah scholar? That's a great question. Well, a Torah scholar is someone who's very, good morning, Ilya, very fluent, who spent many, I would say, very fluent in Torah, spent many years studying Torah, and it has success in his Torah learning, and he has a lot of knowledge of Torah. I would think maybe how we'll define that as a Torah scholar. Someone spending years in Kollel, years day and night in Kollel, and being successful in his learning, which most people in the Kollel are successful in, or else they usually will leave the Kollel, so therefore they would be considered a Torah scholar. But then there's someone else that's higher than a Torah scholar, an Adam Gadol, let's say a rabbi of great, much greater accomplishment. You have a big Rosh Yeshiva, a great rabbi, Ravati Yosef, Yitzchak Yosef, all these people, big people. Those people, I think you're supposed to stand up when they walk into the room, similar to a parent. It's not just when they come within your social distancing. That's what I think. To double check that. But I think that you have a higher level of respect, just like your parents. Your parents, you have to stand up to your parents when they walk into the room. It's not when your parents come into your social distancing, you're 6 to 8 feet. That's when you have to stand up for your parents. The responsibility to stand up for a parent is once they walk into the room. The room could be tremendous. The room could be a tremendous room. But if they walk into that room, you got to stand up for your parents. I think that's also the Adam Gadol, someone of like a big, tremendous rabbi. That's also that responsibility. Yes. Mitzvah, the number that leads to 40, which is 39. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, but again, according to the Rambam, according to which some people understand the Rambam, he will understand this pasuk, this Gemara. Look at the power of the Chachamim. The Torah actually says 40. And the Chachamim say, we're going to give him one less. We're going to give the man one less in order to protect that the court should, because sometimes people make a mistake. When you're giving 30, if you're going to tell them, if you can do actually 40, if they make a mistake, they might make a mistake on one, like they'll be off by one, and they might do 41. So in order to protect that, we spoke about this yesterday, in order to protect that this shouldn't happen, so they said do 39. So if they make a mistake, you'll do 40, and you will not do more than the original that he was supposed to get. So look at the power of the Chacham. They actually took away from what really was mandated from the Torah. They were mandated from the Torah to do 40, and they actually removed it in order as a protection that people shouldn't go ahead and violate the Torah itself. It's in court, and it would seem to be in public, to my knowledge. I don't think it's in private. I mean, we could check that out. I mean, like it says by the Sotah, defined by the Sotah, the lady, when she goes through her process, the lady who the husband suspected her, it says anybody who saw her in her disgrace they would separate from wine, because wine brings to such things. When a lady is under the influence of wine, she loses her inhibitions, and that she's much more vulnerable to sin with somebody. So, but we see anybody who saw it. So it wasn't closed doors. It was open over there. So I presume this is. I mean, okay, that's more by the Beit HaMikdash area, but I presume this is also not closed doors. But by the way, I will tell you that somebody I was involved in a case that A guy wasn't giving his wife a get, and I was like a double agent, so to speak. I knew the guy. He wasn't giving the guy a get. He tried to get me to help him, but I was really helping the wife that he should give her a get. Okay, you hear the story, Mr. Haber? But you hear the story. So I was like a double agent. He thought I was going to help him, but really I was there to help his wife. And so, but he had to go to civil court, but it's marriage court, family court, whatever it was. This is going back maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I went there to be there with him, whatever, make it look like I'm trying to help him, but I'm trying to obviously help the woman who she was the one who was needed the help. But because I spoke with her off the record, she had no interest of ever getting back with this guy. But what I found I felt very bad, was family court, everybody's laundry, dirty laundry is in public. Anybody could walk into the court. There's an audience there, and you hear everybody else's, he didn't pay child support, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. It's just, to me, it was an eye-opening how not proper it was, the disgrace of such a person who, and also it's claims, he claims this, she claims that. Here, this is a question of the court did it. This is something that it was decided by the court. It's not, I just felt that certain things that should be in the public shouldn't be in the public. Family court should not be open to everybody, should not have to hear about everybody's claim. He's claiming against this one, claiming against this one. But I would presume that here, when a person does this sin, and if other people would see it, it maybe would cause people not to do that sin. Okay, but we have to look into that more about, exactly, how open was the court for people to see, the lashes. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Aboim Shleimo. Rabbi Yehuda says there was 40 total lashes. He does not hold that there was 39. He understands that it's 40. I don't, it's not clear. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, 40, he gets 40 lashes. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, my time with Rabbi Yehuda. What is the reason of Rabbi Yehuda? The Ksiv, he has a pasuk in Zechariah. Ma hamakot he'ela bein yadecha. Why do you have this? The people are gonna ask the Navi. They're gonna ask the Navi, the false Navi. Ma hamakot he'ela shebein yadecha. Why do you have these wounds? You have these wounds between your hands. The Gemara understands between your hands is between your shoulder, where your hand joins with your shoulder. So what is this wound that you have? I see signs of wounds that you have. So he tells them back, because it says in the future, it says about these false prophets will have been punished, and they're going to be asked about why did you get this punishment? So he says, "V'amar ashehu keti beit mahavai." These were lashes that I was hit because out of love for me, because the court wanted to set me back on the right road, because I sinned, I did things that were wrong. So the lashes that were given was given in order to help me. That's the whole point of the lashes. What's the point that person gets punished? Why does the court punish anybody? The court punishes somebody in order to do tshuva, to repent, to be an atonement for his sins. So he's going to say that these are lashes that are given to help me repent. That's why, they're going to notice this wound between his shoulders. They're going to notice this. It has this marking, and he's going to say, he's going to say that's the reason for it. So now, what did he say? So very good. So the Gemara says, now we know the 39 lashes. The 39 lashes were given 3 spots. 13 was given by the chest, 13 on this shoulder, and 13 on this shoulder, for a total of 39. But here, this is between. This is between the arm and the shoulder. So we never had a record before. Where does this one come? So the answer is this one is number 40. When he notices that this thing between your hands, on top of your, between your shoulder and your hand, he's saying that this pasuk is talking about the 40th lash. But that's now the question is, the commentaries do ask the question, why is he only why is the guy only noticing the hit between the shoulders? Why isn't he saying what's this hit on this shoulder, on that shoulder, on, there's some ask that question. But this lash, maybe it stands out among all the different sets. There's one right here, only one here. What is this all about? And that's what the response is going to be. The response is going to be, it's because I sinned. So what do we see from this pasuk? We see from this pasuk that there's a lash that's not on the shoulders, not on the chest, between the shoulder and the arm, and that's number 40. So that's what he says. So we see there's a 40th lash.
So Rabbi, we didn't do away with the 40th. It's not 39. It's 40.
Oh, very good. This is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. The halacha is, you're right. I mean, we do away with one. It's 39. But Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. Rabbi Yehuda is a dissenting opinion. The law doesn't follow him, and he says no. We actually did 40. That and he think he found a pasuk which seems to indicate that there's this lash, this hit, that's not in the place of the other 39, and he wants to say that means that's the 40th lash, and he wants to prove from there that there's 40 lashes. No, because in the future there's going to the false prophets the false prophets will be punished. They'll be hit by court. Oh, those are the false prophets will be hit, and then people will ask them, what is this all about? What did you get hit for? He says, I was hit because I did something wrong. I was a false prophet. I did things wrong, and the court gave me lashes for whatever sins for the sin that I did. But the false prophet is going to be getting lashes because, I mean, Zechariah, I mean, usually Zechariah is referring to something that will happen usually it's a nevuah on the future. Let's take a look at let's see if they quote over here regarding the pasuk in Zechariah. He says it says that the false prophets in the future, they're going to be embarrassed by the way they look, and because he's gonna have bruises in his body, and they're gonna when they ask the people, people are gonna ask him, what is this all about? Meaning, if you did tshuva, so why do you have these wounds? So he says, and these wounds seem to indicate that you didn't do tshuva. Because if you did tshuva, if you did repentance, why should you be hit? Why should the court have hit you? So he says that the false prophet will say, these are lashes that the court gave me to atone for my sin. Meaning, most probably, I did sin. I did not get punished for it. I got punished now from the court, and they wanted me to become close to Hashem because I did sins and I needed atonement. So that's what's going to be in the future, Dr. Navid, that these people who did the sins will get punished, and they're going to have this wound on their body. People are going to say, "What's going on?" And they're going to say, "It's because of what I did wrong." Yeah, that's true. And also might depend depending what he said. Different laws. The reason I got this. No, he's not. No, he's being honest. He's being honest He's being honest by saying that the reason why he has this problem is because the court hit me. That's what Rabbi Yehuda understands the pasuk is referring to. So it's therefore, so we see that the court will hit between, there's a 40th. There's something that's not in the normal place of the 39. So that's number 40. So Rabbanan, what did Rabbanan hold? The Rabbanan who say that there's only 39, so how will he explain that pasuk? So he says, "Ahu b'tinokot shel beit Rabbam hu diksiv." That's referring that people will see that they will see the person with some sort of wound. It's talking about, you'll see sometimes there'll be children. There'll be children that were not acting properly in the yeshiva, and therefore the rabbis in the yeshiva needed to discipline them, to bring them, to get them in shape, that they shouldn't be spoiled children and they should be doing the right thing. And they didn't hit them on a place that's dangerous for their health. They hit them in a place, Marsha says, that would not bring them to sakanat, a place that's pretty well protected. So that's the. So that's not. It's not even referring to lashes of a court. That's what the Chum say. That's not referring to lashes of the court, and rather it's their parents. Maybe so. Some say it's the parents, that their parents hit them when they were young in order to put them on the right way, and that will remain. And even though they're adults, but sometimes you have a little bit the mark. So if you have the markings that maybe it's some sort of scar or something from what happened when their parents hit them when they were young. So that's how the Chum understand that, and therefore there's no proof that there's a 40th lash. I don't know. I mean, again, it's not. See, the pasuk does not say clearly. It doesn't identify the pasuk.
You think to when he's misbehaved, and that left him on, and now he's in a group, and that's what you see on top of him. The 40 flashes.
You see. You see, it could. Okay, so see, it says over there, when the person will speak falsely, the prophet will speak falsely, and his father and his mother will punish him because he prophesied falsely. And then the prophet says that, you know what? Instead of being open and admitting that these were punishments that his parents gave him for acting inappropriately, for testifying falsely, he will say that his parents gave him to discipline him because he wasn't a good boy, to make him smart, not because he did something wrong, just because they wanted that he should toe the line, and therefore that's why he has the marking. So it's a cover up. That now we can understand it better. It's a cover up that the false prophet will say. You'll ask him, what's going on? What are these wounds? Instead of saying it's because instead of saying because he prophesied falsely, he will say it's nothing. He's not going to admit because he sinned against Hashem. But rather he'll say these are the markings, right, that his parents gave him in order to make sure that he could toe the line. Okay. Now the Gemara says regarding the estimation of the court. The Gemara says like this: Ein omdim ela b'makot haruyot lishtalesh. The Mishnah says you only go ahead and you hit the person, wounds, lashes that could be, not wounds, lashes that could be split into three, right? You don't give the guy 20 lashes, but 20,000 split into three. And then the Mishnah says that if the guy got some lashes, right? And then the court decided to change their mind. They said he can't take, you estimated 39 and he got 10 and the court says you can't handle anymore. So what do we say? We say he's off the hook. He's off the hook. Once the court gave him 10 or whatever the number the court gave him, and then they re-estimated what they said he can't handle more, even though you originally, the original estimation that he can handle 39, but now the court says he can't handle 39, that he can handle 25. Once they're changing their estimation, he's off the hook. He doesn't even get to 25. He got 10, we're not changing, and now he gets off the hook. Is that clear? So now the Gemara asks the following question: Laka in, lo laka lo. The Mishnah says if they change their estimation after he started getting hit, then we say he gets off the hook. He's free. The moment they say they can't fulfill the original estimation. But if he did not, but the Mishnah says they started hitting him. But what about if they didn't start hitting him? What does it indicate? Let's say the court said, they first said 9. And then after they said to get 9, they said, that's only 6 or 39 or 6. Right. Will we change their estimate? Could we change it before anything happened? But the language of the Mishnah indicated you could. But the Mishnah only indicated, if you look at the language of the Mishnah, 22a, he says, the last line of the page, if they estimated that he can handle 39, and he got part of the 39, right? He got some of it. And then then they said he can't handle the 39, he's patur. He's exempt right there and then. But only because he got some of the lashes. Our Mishnah says if they made an estimation that he could do 39 lashes, and then they're in the middle of hitting him, he did 10 already, and they said, no, he can't take 39. He only can take 25, he gets off the hook right now. But the inference from the Mishnah, the indication from the Mishnah is only because he already got some lashes. And as the Rivan explains, because he was already disgraced in court. Getting lashes is a great disgrace, to be disgraced in court. And therefore, once that happened, he's off the hook. But the Gemara says, we have a Braita that seems to say otherwise. Lucky in, you only told me if he got some lashes, then he gets off the hook. Lo luck low, but if he didn't get any lashes, and then you want to change the estimation, you should be able to change the estimation. Or a minu, I have a contradiction. If you estimated in the beginning that he can handle 39 lashes, and then they said, no, he can't take 39. And they didn't even start the lashes. Patur. He's already patur. They originally said 39, then they said he can't handle 39, he's patur. If they said he can handle 18, then they said, no, he can do much more. They changed estimations, he could do 39. Patur. He's patur in both cases. From the 40, from the 39, even though they didn't start the lashes yet. So we see that you can't change. So we see from here that if you want to change the estimation, right? He's off the hook. He's off the hook if they thought he was 39, and then they said he can't take 39, he's off the hook in total, even though they didn't give him any lashes yet. And if they estimated him that he could handle 18, and maybe the mission uses 18 chai, because we want the guy to live spiritually, which is 18, to do tshuva, repent. They said, and that's what he actually was able to handle, 18. And then they said, no, we made a mistake. It's 30. He can handle 39. We do not give him the 39. We just give him the 18. So this is different than our Mishnah. Our Mishnah seems to say only if the lashes already started happening will we say that this change of the estimation will have an effect. But here we see even if the lashes did not start happening, the change of the estimation will have an effect. Morning. Say it again. Oh, very good. They assess, let's say they assessed at one time and another time, we'll see at which point that will be. The Gemara is going to say, at another time, they made a new assessment. Before that, from the time they made the original assessment, there was one assessment, and the second assessment was done at a different time. And at the second assessment, they saw that the original, whatever they said first, now it's something different. So now, if nothing happened yet, does that make, how do we look at it? So here it says, even if nothing happened, if they assess him that he's 39 and then nothing happened, then they reassess him for a 25, he's off the hook. You don't have to give him anything. So if he runs away, we're going to catch him. We're going to go after to find him. We have to bring him. We reach the court. If it's not good to bring him to court. You know, there's shoftim, shotrim. There's judges and there's officers. So Amar Rav Sheish lo kasha. Hadam du liyomei, and hadam du lemochel el machara. Our Mishnah is talking about they made the estimation, and in the same day they re-estimated the guy. And in such a short amount of time, it's not so logical that he should change his ability to handle lashes in the same day. In the morning, you came up with one estimation, after you came up with a different estimation. So most probably, it means that the first estimation was a wrong estimation. Therefore, if he did not get hit yet, we'll take the second estimation to be the valid estimation, and then he'll get the system estimation, and he will get the lashes. Meaning they originally said 39 in the morning. In the afternoon they said 25. They didn't hit him yet, so then they're going to give him the 25. However, but the second bright, the bright that talks about that the second estimation, Ilya, was done a day later, or multiple days later. So then we say, if the second estimation was done at a later date, so most probably the first estimation was a proper estimation. Except what happened was the guy got weakened. He got weak over the few days, and therefore we say in that situation we're going to make it easier for him, and he's going to get off the hook. We're going to give him that he's going to say in that case, since the first estimation was a proper estimation, so he was disgraced by the court, that the court judged him for lashes, and that's enough of an atonement to the guy, and he doesn't need to get any lashes. No. If he's going to get nothing, if they estimated 39 today and tomorrow they estimate 25, he's off the hook. Wow. Off the hook totally. Wow. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great Shabbos, because he was disgraced by the decision of the court to originally say he's going to get 39. Jaime, have a great Shabbos. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom.
All the best, everybody. Bye-bye.